This week on the Hooters Tour with Lee Moore and Kim Breel. Just ahead, some familiar names on the Hooters Tour. Watch 4 championship rounds as 6 players fight for the $15,000 first place check. Our Lee Moore follows some of our players to the U.S. Open. We'll see how they did, and we'll meet Ricky Smallridge. He's knocking at the $100,000 Naturally Fresh bonus check. All that and more coming up on This Week on the Hooters Tour.
Well, one final question, Mr. Parkhill. Have you ever been to a Hooters restaurant?
Not to the best of my recollection.
Never had Hooters' nearly world-famous chicken wings?
Or the Big Hoot salad?
Not to the best of my recollection.
Mr. Parkhill, we simply cannot confirm anyone for this post who has never been to Hooters.
How many times has this happened to you? It's after work, you're hungry, you want to have some fun, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Impossible? Not at Hooters. That's right, Hooters. And here's how. How much would you expect to pay for a nearly world-famous chicken wing? $5, $1, 50 cents? No, just 10 cents. Still not convinced? Watch this amazing demonstration. Come into any Hooters restaurant and take advantage of this incredible offer. Order now. Waitresses are standing by. Some restrictions apply. See individual stores for details.
Earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to El Paso Golf Club in El Paso, Illinois. I'm Lee Moore.
And I'm Kim Breel.
Kim, this event, the Ice Draft WIHN Golf Classic, marks the 10th event of the year on the Hooters Tour, which is exactly halfway through the regular season.
El Paso is just about 2 hours south of Chicago and about 20 minutes away from Bloomington, Illinois. This marks the 4th time the tour has played at the El Paso Golf Course. Only one other city, Bowling Green, Kentucky, can boast of hosting the Hooters Tour 4 times in a row.
On the first day, a past champion from this tournament is going to tie the course record, which stands at 9 under par 62. Now, let's check out the opening 2 rounds of this $100,000 event. Veteran Hooters Tour player David Wall is going to make the first big impression at the Ice Draft WIHN Classic when he blistered the winless El Paso layout the first day with an 8 under par 63, one of his better rounds in recent times. Now, David's par at the final hole, the par 3, 18th, is going to give him the lead. That is temporarily. And for David, it was a matter of making some putts and staying focused.
I felt good, a lot of it, because I had a little more confidence because the winds finally died down, and I knew the golf course would be playing much easier. Greens were perfect this morning, and I made 2 putts on 2 and 3 from about 8-10 feet or so. Got my confidence going into 1, just boosted everything.
One of David's best friends on the Hooters Tour is Eric Johnson. On this day, Eric is doing no favors for anyone. Eric turned the first 9 at 29, or 7 under par. Now, starting his 10th hole of the day, he's going to pick up a birdie here at the par 4 10th hole. This is going to get him to 8 under par. Ricky Smallridge is in that same group of 3, but on this day, Ricky's going to remain relatively quiet. Again, Eric picks up that birdie on the hole. At the next hole, the par 5 second, Jack O'Keefe, again playing in the same threesome, is going to sink this offering for a 4 on the par 5. He stands now at 6 under par, while Johnson and Smallridge are going to settle for pars on this hole. Eric is going to make 4 birdies on his final 9, and the 1 bogey That's going to give him a 33, but a 62 for the day is going to tie the competitive course record, which was set in one of these events by current Nike Tour member Chris Hunsucker. Hunsucker turned the number in 91. One other note on the 63 that was shot earlier in the day by David Wall, his total included a hole-in-one at the par 3 13th. Friday is a big day for lots of reasons on the Hooters Tour. The biggest single factor is making the cut. Late in the day, Huntsville, Alabama player Spike McCroy birdies his final hole. This will ensure a place for the weekend. His reaction makes it plain that he's happy. Later, McCroy's best friend, Winston Walker, also of Huntsville, will get down on the same hole for par, and he's in that final field. The cut, which will include 63 players, is set at even par. Now, a couple of big names on the tour will not stick around for the weekend. They are Marion Dantzler, who pars here at his 18th hole. Still, he's 8 shots too many. Javier Sanchez also pars his final hole, but he's also over par for the 36 holes, and he'll head on home. Eric Johnson fires a 2-under par 70 on the second day, and he's going to hold on to a 2-shot lead with Ricky Smallridge at 9 under after a strong second day showing of 5-under par 66. So Eric Johnson, with rounds of 62-69, is in front by 2 strokes over the tour's leading money winner, Ricky Smallridge of Opelika, Alabama. 3 shots behind the leader with 134 totals are Jack O'Keefe of Little Rock, Arkansas, and Rob Moss of Parma, Ohio. Stephen Larrick of Blythewood, South Carolina, continues his strong play with rounds of 67-68. That's for a -7 total. That's the same as Greg Parker of Plantation, Florida. There are 10 players bunched at 6 under par after 36 holes. Ryan Howison, Scott Gardner of Clinton, Tennessee, Jeff Gov of Seattle, Jimmy Green of Mobile, Alabama, Jason Larson of San Ramon, California, Jody Bellflower of Milledgeville, Georgia, and Andrew Morris of Needham, Mass. David Wall with an opening 63 followed by a 2-over par 73 is also in that group, as is Dickie Thompson of Peachtree City, Georgia, and old Steve Thomas of Fayetteville, Georgia.
When we come back, we'll tell you about our 10-spot qualifier, the biggest Pro-Am of the year, and you'll meet our biggest money winner to date, all coming up next.
Hi, I'm Debbie Murray with St. Louis Hooters. Stick around. Lee and Kim will be right back.
Everybody's getting happy at Hooters.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good.
Who are you calling guys?
Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Yes, I am.
At Hooters, our girls earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Now, Kim, Huntsville native Winston Walker actually lapped the field in that Monday 10-spot qualifier. He had a 5-under par 66. Now, also added to the field from that Monday event were Fred Rydell, Ted Gleason, Brad Claprott, Jim Miller, David McCampbell, John Ergott, Tim Gross, Shane Van Loon, and Tom McKay.
Lee, the largest Pro-Am of the year was held on Wednesday, and I might add over $5,000 was raised for charity. And when the dust had settled, Hooters professional Bill Price and his team of amateurs Heller, Fleming, Kalkworth, and Kelly won with a score of 57.
Not too bad. The defending Ice Draft WIHN champion Steve Navarro and his team came in second in a playoff, while Randy Maris's team came in third. Now, our first semester report card, I guess you could say, Kim, has Ricky Smallridge at the head of the class, if you will. Now, the Opelika native is never at a loss for words when it comes to talking about his favorite subject. You know what that is? Golf.
Consistent, aggressive, and experienced. That, without question, describes Ricky Smallridge of Opelika, Alabama. After picking up the game at the age of 13, Smallridge managed to cram a lot of practicing into a short amount of time. Enough practicing to earn a full scholarship to Auburn University.
I had a decent tenure at Auburn. I had 3 All-SEC seasons and an All-American season, and then after Auburn, I went and tried the tour school unsuccessfully a couple of times. Played the mini tour. Went down to Orlando and played on the mini tour, and I wasn't really fond of the mini tour, to be honest with you. So after that, I went back and finished up school. So I went back to school and got my degree, and tried the tour school again shortly thereafter that, and failed again, and kind of was got disenchanted with golf a little bit, and so I went to work and went to work as an assistant pro in Gadsden, Alabama, where Amy, my wife, is from.
After a few months, he left and became assistant pro at a course called Sagahatchee.
Over this time, I got to kind of, playing just maybe once a week, having fun again, and enjoying it some more. I got to playing pretty good, and so some of my buddies there kind of talked me back into trying it again. I had kind of given up on the hopes of playing for a living anymore, and was just going to be content with staying in the golf shop and going that route.
All this decision-making for Ricky was occurring in 1989. Just about the time Rick Jordan had started the PGT, Professional Golf Tour. It later changed to the USGT.
And then in 1990, they had the Hogan Tour started up, and they had the Hogan qualifying school. And so I played, I got a conditional card on the Hogan Tour that year, and so I wasn't getting in every tournament, so I played with Rick in 1990 on the US Golf Tour again, and partially. And that and the Hogan Tour, and eventually I won a tournament on the Hogan Tour, got exempt out there, and played the next 3 years on the Hogan Tour, and last year on the Nike Tour.
In 10 events to date, Ricky Smallridge has placed in the top 10 in every event that he had made the cut, and he's only missed 2 cuts. He won in Albuquerque, tied for second in Columbus, and lost by only a stroke in Atlanta. So playing on the Hooters Tour for a living could be possible for the veteran professional, but not likely. Not likely because, for Ricky, there could be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I just figure if I come out here and play the best I can, and do the best I can, and try to get my confidence, back where it needs to be, then all the other stuff is going to kind of take care of itself, I hope.
Earlier this summer, 7 Hooters players made the U.S. Open field at Oakmont. Lee was there to talk with several of our players, past and present, as well as some household names from the PGA Tour.
They're obviously good enough to be here because they've qualified for it, so just go and enjoy it while you can. If it's your first one, you just got to relax and understand this is an extremely difficult golf course to be coming in on your first one, and play the best you can play.
For Job, our winner at Dallas in June, playing in the Open and making the cut was a grand experience. Now, we caught up with Brant on the practice tee prior to the first round.
On the Jordan Tour, that's a great learning situation. That's where guys get to go play. We get to choke a little bit and learn how to choke and still win. And the difference between that is the guys out here. They've kind of refined their swings, their game a little bit more. So I think their bad days aren't as bad as what ours are. But in their good days, look at the numbers. The guys are still shooting real low. So they're fairly similar. But they're a little more rounded, a little more seasoned. How about that?
The eventual winner of the Open, Ernie Els of South Africa, was most familiar with the Hooters Tour. In fact, Ernie grew up playing junior golf with former Hooters star Sean Pappas.
I don't really think it's my kind of golf course. I think you just got to adapt your game to play this golf course. I think I'll have to hit a lot of long irons off the tees here. You got to keep it in play, and you got to bring your putting game with you here this week, I think. So it's going to be pretty tough for us. I'm not going to get a lot of drivers out there this week, I don't think.
Curtis Strange, believe it or not, did have an excellent chance to win his third Open. He came to Oakmont swinging the clubs very well.
The Open does get me going, and I've been working hard for a week and a half, actually longer than that, but went home and worked hard for this tournament, and hopefully I prepared right, and I've given myself a chance, and now I just got to go play. But the Open is special to me and every other person on this tee. This is our national championship, and it's the biggest tournament in the world to us, so if this doesn't get you going, nothing will.
So our trip to the Open was informative, and it was fun. And a special thanks to Jim Cornette and the wonderful people at the Hooters of Pittsburgh for their help.
When we come back on This Week on the Hooters Tour, we'll have action from the final 36 holes at El Paso Golf Club.
So I said to Henny, of course chickens are more important to Hooters than owls.
Who?
Chickens, that's who.
I beg to differ.
Well, beg all you want. Without chickens, there'd be no chicken sandwiches or chicken salad, or Hooters famous chicken wings. There'd be no Hooters if it weren't for chicken.
It's really not wise to even argue the point.
That's because I'm right.
No, that's because you're not going to be around long anyway. Chicken.
Naturally fresh, simply delicious. Just wait and see. You'll taste the quality. Preservative free. We always have been, always will be. Naturally, it's simply delicious. Naturally fresh. It's a lifestyle.
Are you still drinking the old thing? Try the next thing, Powerade. With 33% more carbos than Gatorade and a taste you can really slam. Powerade, the next thing.
Now, Saturday saw the scores go up, while the temperature and other weather conditions went down.
The Hooters Tour all-time leading money winner Eric Johnson was going into round 3 with a 3-stroke lead over Ricky Smallridge. Johnson had led after Thursday's round, and it was looking as though the Eugene, Oregon native wasn't going to let up. He couldn't because guys like Greg Parker wanted a chance at the $15,000 first-place check. This birdie on number 6 put Greg at -8 for the tournament. Parker would also birdie number 13 and again at 14. He'll fire a 68 on Saturday, putting himself in contention for Sunday's final round. Jack O'Keefe from Little Rock, Arkansas, also made his presence known. A birdie on number 6 puts him to -8. He shoots a 1-under par 70 and will tee off on Sunday at -9, 4 back of the leader. Ryan Howison followed his pair of 68s with a 2-under par 69. He stands at 205. Stephen Larrick, who played well last week, had rounds of 67 and 68. And this birdie at 14 puts him at -8 for the tournament, and that's where he'll finish after round 3. Another strong player this week is Rob Moss of Parma, Ohio. He'll post a third-round score of 69 for a 10-under par total going into Sunday's final round. But the man of the hour again was Eric Johnson. This eagle on 14 pushed him to 12 under par, 2 ahead of our clubhouse leader, Dickie Thompson. Thompson's 67 today put him in at 10 under and in excellent position. Johnson, however, would birdie yet again at 17, finishing the day 2 under and 13 under for the tournament.
I do like this golf course, or maybe the golf course likes me. I don't know, one or the other. It is fun. Somebody's got to be leading each day. I've never led a tournament wire to wire, and it'd be nice, but after the last putt falls tomorrow is when it's the most important.
Eric Johnson continues his wire-to-wire move with 18 holes to go. He stands at 200 or 13 under par. At 203 or 10 under are Dickie Thompson, Greg Parker, Rob Moss, and Ricky Smallridge. Jack O'Keefe is alone in 6th place, following his 70 on Saturday. He is 4 shots in back of the leader, Johnson. Some others within 6 or 7 shots of the lead are Ryan Howison at -8, the same as Stephen Larrick. The 2 at 7 under are Jody Bellflower and Jimmy Green.
So we talk now about some irony. During the last two stops at the El Paso Golf Club, Eric Johnson has either won the tournament or he finished one shot away from the winner's circle on Sunday. So today, Eric's going to have another chance to make a big check at the El Paso Golf Club.
After leading wire to wire with rounds of 62, 69, 69, Eric Johnson of Eugene, Oregon was a player to keep an eye on. Three back, though, was Dickie Thompson, Greg Parker, Rob Moss, and Ricky Smallridge. Rob Moss made his move early. A birdie at number 2 puts him to 11 under and 2 off the pace. Moss had gone to 13 under as he entered number 9, but a bogey at the par 4 would drop him back to 12 under. Moss would shoot a 70 today to finish tied for 6th. Carl Paulson of Virginia Beach began the day at 4 under and tied for 18th. His 63 today moved him to a tie for 3rd and a $4,000 plus check. Greg Parker, who has consistently been in the money, was still looking for that $15,000 first place check. This birdie on number 9 got him to minus 11. He'll finish with a 68 and 13 under for the championship. He'll end up in second all by himself to earn $8,500 for his efforts. Eric Johnson started slow, pars at the first 5 holes, and by hole number 14, he had lost 3 strokes to par to stand at 10 under for the championship. It would not be his turn this week as he'll post a final round 73 and finishes tied for 5th. So who did come to the forefront? Was it Jack O'Keefe, who was just 4 back at the start of the day? He had birdies at 11 and 12 to go to 12 under with 6 to play. O'Keefe fires a 69 and places tied for 6th. It wasn't Ricky Smallridge either. He shoots 1 over on the final day and finishes 11th. Stephen Larrick gave a good run with rounds of 67, 68, 70. He finishes strong with a 67, 2 off the pace, in a tie for 3rd. No, the man of the hour, so to speak, was Dickie Thompson, our first 2-time winner of the season. Thompson, after a bogey at the par 4 5th hole, finds 6 birdies, this one at number 9 and again at 13. His 66 gives him a 2-stroke victory and the $15,000 first place check.
I mean, I played really well all week. The worst I shot was 68, which was the first 2 days. And I started off kind of back, and I just kind of worked my way up through the field and got lucky today and caught him. And, you know, I played really well all week, and I putted especially well this weekend, which was really the difference. I had really good feel with my putter this weekend.
So the final leaderboard had Dickie Thompson with a 2-stroke lead over Greg Parker. Tied for 3rd is Carl Paulson, Steve Flesch, and Stephen Larrick. 4 strokes back, tied for 6th, is John Dowdall, Ryan Howson, Jack O'Keefe, Rob Moss, and Eric Johnson. Ricky Smallridge finishes 11th at 275.
So another great finish to one of the oldest tournaments on this tour. Now, stick around. We still got some help for your golf game, a rules tip, and we're going to look at some important mathematics halfway through our season. All of that coming up on This Week on the Hooters Tour.
Fellow Americans, recently it's been reported in the national media that I am preoccupied with Hooters. I wish to state for the record that I have not been sneaking out in the middle of the night and going to Hooters. Reports that I have been seen eating a big plate of nearly world-famous chicken wings are simply not true. It's just another attempt to discredit the policies of this administration. Thank you.
Our girls earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant. It's It's an adventure.
Today on our player tip, Jeff Jones is going to talk about the importance of the pre-shot routine.
Hi, I'm Jeff Jones with the Hooters Golf Tour. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pre-shot routine and preparation so that everyone can take their golf game that they groove out on the practice tee to the golf course and enjoy the benefits of all that practice. If you've ever wondered why these guys and girls out on their prospective tours can play such fine golf day in, day out, shot after shot after shot, it's because they have a routine they go through every day from the time they get up to the time they tee off and then going with every golf shot they play during the round. I'll show you what my routine is. I simply get behind the golf ball and I visualize a line from the ball to the target, and then I put my hands on the golf club. I see the shot in my mind's eye. I step up to the golf ball, approach the golf ball. I plant my right foot 90 degrees to the target line. I align my club face square to the target. I take one last look, and then I pull the trigger. And that was a pretty good result. I hope that tip helps you to take the golf game that you groove out on the practice tee to the golf course. I look forward to seeing you at your local Hooters restaurant.
Hooters rules official Doug Findlay is back this week, and this time he gives us a call where a local rule could be involved.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Doug Findlay, Rules Director for the Hooters Professional Golf Tour. Today on Rules Tips, we are going to talk about USGA Rule number 26, which is water hazards and lateral water hazards, and a special type of water hazard that has caused some controversy with our players on the Hooters Tour this year. The rules of golf define a water hazard as any sea, lake, pond, river, ditch, surface drainage ditch, or open water course, whether or not containing water, and anything of a similar nature. Here at the very busy Arroyo del Oso course in Albuquerque, New Mexico, we have an example of a very typical lateral water hazard, which we have defined by red stakes and a red paint line for the Hooters Tour event this week. Now for the controversial water hazard. Here we have a very shallow surface drainage ditch lined with concrete, which, as you can clearly see, contains no water. It just doesn't look like your normal water hazard. Well then, is this ditch actually a water hazard under the rules? Yes, it certainly is, and we have defined the margins of it for play on the Hooters Tour as a regular water hazard using yellow stakes and yellow paint lines.
Lee, there's two things that players compete for on this tour: money and bonus points. At the halfway point in our season, here are the top 10 in each category. For the top 10 money list, Dickie Thompson holds a $6,000 lead over Ricky Smallridge, who has earned almost $38,000. Jimmy Green is in at third with $31,620. Paul Claxton and Steve Pope round out the top 5. The other 5 in the top 10 include Steve Thomas, Scott McCarron, Andrew Morse, Greg Parker, and Steve Flesh. In the naturally fresh $100,000 bonus race, Dickie Thompson has a narrow lead over Ricky Smallridge. Andrew Morse is in at third with Scott McCarron, Greg Parker, Ryan Howison, Jack O'Keefe, Mike Swartz, Paul Claxton, and Jimmy Green rounding out the top 10. Next week, Lee, we're going to be in Rantoul, Illinois, playing for the first time at the old Chanute Air Force Base golf course. It's called Willapond. It's a 7,000-yard layout.
Yep, we want everybody, of course, next week to join us right here for that event on This Week on the Hooters Tour. So long, everybody.
This Week on the Hooters Tour is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. Naturally fresh foods. And by Bud Light. Won't fill you up, never lets you down.